Africa. I understand that this is a conversation that has been said a lot, a long time. Shout out Courageous Empire to say he did see the post. Yes, I'm sharing it on the screen right now. All right, so we're going to go through the suggested venues and just maybe talk about some few talking points in there. All right, so when I was putting this list together, I was making consideration because there isn't actually a properly run arena in Nigeria that could actually host, but there's a properly run event space where all the Afrobeats and all the awards go to, which is the Echo Convention Center. And that is just that. And this is it. And this takes roughly about 5,000 people. This is a same venue that has done MMA before. It did host the African Knockout twice. That's the MMA promotion by Kamaru Usman. Toby, Temba said you are fired. Temba, come and rescue us, I beg. Come and rescue us from Toby and his internet, please. So yes. So this venue, Echo Convention Center, it takes about 5,000 people. It is very popular, a hotspot for socialites in Lagos, Nigeria. It has hosted like CAF Awards, MTV Mama Awards, Trace Awards, Afro Basket. They come and put and they put like seats and put arrange a basketball court in there. They play some international games in there as well. So it's quite spacious, but I'm not sure if it's going to be up to the standards of the UFC. But regardless, I had to put a Nigerian venue in there, and that is Echo Convention Center. Toby, have you been here before?
Yeah, I have actually. I like how you snuck a Nigerian center into it, knowing very well that, we really don't have what it takes to host a UFC event properly. The space is nice. They could make it work, even though the capacity might not favor them. But I think that aside from just the arena, the surroundings, getting in and out of the location for a UFC event might be quite difficult. So I really doubt the UFC will be looking at this. But yeah, if we had to put anywhere in Lagos, it would be
Okay.
this.
Well, sorry. If we're sorry. Did you say that getting in and out will be an issue, or it is good for getting in and out? Which were you saying?
It will be an issue. It will be an issue looking at the area and how, like, even for smaller events, that whole area is very, very difficult to get in and out of. So it
Okay,
will
so
be
as
it will be
somebody
really
that is
tough.
from as somebody that is from Lagos, let's
Hmm.
say this event could happen maybe in an outdoor setting and they could come and put like some makeshift seats arena style because Nigeria has like Lagos has like some beach soccer thing going on. They'll put a lot of seats there that will kind of like look like an arena, but they'll take it away after the event. Would you say that is something that they could consider doing?
Of course, it's something they could consider doing. Kamaru Usman's promotion actually did something like that, on a beach in Lagos. It's not really the UFC style. They don't really like the outdoor stadium type thing. They could do it on the beach. They could do it at, I think, the Mobolaji Johnson Stadium. That's where a lot of people go for things like this, just because it has like better access. There's the Muson Center, all of that. But just with the tradition of how the UFC likes to do things, these places don't necessarily fit the bill.
All right, so that is Lagos, Nigeria. We try to make a case, but we cannot, ladies and gentlemen. Next, it is sorry if I botched the name. It is the Pavilhao Mulitsos of Kilamba in Luanda, Angola. So this is a beautiful arena. I don't think it's very old. As we know, Angola is a basketball nation, so I'm not surprised that they've got a massive arena. This is an arena that has like 12,000 capacity in there. Speaking about MMA in Angola, it's quite huge. They've got they've actually got a contender in the UFC in the person of Manuel Cap. That's in the flyweight, and Angola has about two MMA promotions that are actually doing well. Apart from that, they've got someone who is a champion. I think is a bantamweight champion in RSFC in France. I believe. What's yeah. Yeah. So Temba has a point here. He says, before you think arena, think about hotels. They are the only places where hotels can host this is Rwanda, South Africa. I heard Angola hotels are nice too.
I
Yes,
think
so that's the
Nigeria can
case I was
run
at.
nice hotels. Yeah.
Oh well, we've got
We,
massive
we,
hotels in
we've got some
Lagos.
really, really good
We've got
hotels here.
yeah, we've got massive resorts too in Lagos. But Angola, from an Angola point of view, Luanda can also be a holiday destination for some reason. If you actually Google and see the aerial shots of Luanda, you would be surprised by how much it looks like Portugal. I'm not trying to make comparisons, but there you go. But yeah. So Afro Fever, they've used this arena before. Um, as you can see, it's quite massive. I did see a YouTube vlog when I was doing my research about how to get in and out. It looks like it's in a proper location for commute. I don't know about the hotel destination, but I wouldn't think it would be an issue logistic wise as well. Um, Fan wise, I'm not sure how MMA smart Angolans are, but I would say there's a lot of like Angolans in the space of MMA. They've got a champion in Ares. I'm trying to remember this guy's name, but I forgot. You've interviewed him before, Toby.
The mat, is it the mat penna?
Yes, the Matt Payne. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You probably need some caffeine. Yes, so the Matt Payne is there as well. He is likely going to end up being signed by the UFC, but I just hope he does that before he gets old. Um, yeah, so Angola is one shot, and I'm going to say that uh, what was I even going to say?
They just
Ish,
started
I
something.
forgot. Yeah, it's okay. Let's go to the next one. Or do you have your take about Angola here in this Pa Kilamba Arena?
I don't really know too much about Angola to be fair, but I like the capacity and it looks really nice. The arena looks amazing. So yeah,
All right then. It might be a case where if it's not filled up, maybe the government or sponsors out there will give out free tickets, but who knows? All right, the next is BK. Oh, oops. The next is BK Arena, the former Kigali Arena. Um, so here is a thing about this, right? Rwanda, because of this arena, have been bringing a lot of shows in. And something that I noticed is that the home crowd or the natives of Rwanda themselves don't tend to fill up this arena all the time. When they bring basketball there, I do watch and I don't see the arena being as packed as I would want it to be honest. So is it one of those things where the government, because they are pushing tourism, it's making events an overkill for the locals there that they don't necessarily want to go and get tickets anymore? Is it one of those situations? Because that's what my concern is. My concern is if UFC does an event in Rwanda, would the local crowd there would they care to actually attend? I do understand that it's going to be very accessible for fans to travel in because Rwanda Air, which is the flight company of Rwanda, flies everywhere, so people can actually come and attend if they want. Even from Nigeria, you don't really need a very strong application for a visa to come across. So I would say that would be a plus. But regardless, the locals there, would they want to attend such an event? What do you think?
yeah. For somebody who is really in the basketball space in terms of what basketball is doing in Africa, the new BAL format they are even trying to get. They were trying to initially move the finals to somewhere like Senegal, where they know that the fans would definitely turn up, fill up everywhere. But Rwanda offers just a perfect blend of facilities, easy access. You spoke about the airline, everything. It's just so perfect for you to ignore that. So I feel like regardless of if they can fill up the venue or not, USC an event as big as UFC, will pull people from around the world, not just the home guys alone. I think what they need to do is just allow more people come into the country. Reduce the how difficult it is for people to get in. It's really not difficult right now, but reduce that. Let people come in. I believe Nigerians will go, South Africans will go, especially depending on the card that you take to Rwanda. If you take a card that has maybe an easy on it or a Dracos on it, um, it will really be exciting for them. And I feel like, the filling up the arena is something people can walk around.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you. So yeah, that's a beautiful BK Arena. It has a capacity of 10,000 plus and has over the years been hosting. It's very busy. All right. The next is something that I kind of feel like is going to happen. It's the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria, South Africa. Capacity is over 8,000. I'm going to say the first time I actually did see this arena was well, I actually did first see it when EFC went there. And there was this NBA thing that happened. It was there. This was like a couple of years ago, but I didn't know it was this arena. I didn't notice it until when I started actively looking at arenas, and then I saw a celebrity boxing event where Casper Nyovest, who is a South African rapper, who did a boxing celebrity boxing affair in there, and I was like, damn, this looks when they did the TV production, it looked really good. And then I did a bit of a research, and I can see that even when EFC do like huge events in there, it kind of gives the UFC vibes as well. So Themba probably has fought in there. I don't really, I don't really know. Temba is in the comment section. You can tell us Temba. But when it comes to that Sun international space, it's like sort of like I believe from what I can see, I'm not sure if you're South African, you tell me. It looks like a kind of like a village that they did with like hotels, resorts, mall arena type of setting, like a boulevard type of setting, something like Landmark did in Lagos. So that's the kind of vibe that the place is giving me. So, but if that place actually exists, then it's fine. The UFC could go there, book all the hotel rooms, and make everything easy for this to do. And like, regardless, when foreigners come to South Africa, they've got a lot of African themed things to do. So that's a good look on Africa itself when they get to do all the safaris and stuff. But my concern would be um, when they say they are doing UFC in Africa, MMA fans, I've already said this before, and probably the white South Africans wouldn't like me for saying this, but uh, most of the fans that will probably buy a ticket will be the white South Africans, and when you see it on TV, you probably wouldn't, if you're not African, you wouldn't tell it's really Africa, which isn't the picture that the UFC would want to give out there. But that's the only concern. I would just wish that if it would actually happen here, a lot of black people a lot of black people will actually buy tickets and get in there. Yes. Temba here says I main evented there. It's nice. It's nice, man. That show, lovely arena. That was my last EFC fight. So there you have it. Temba's last EFC fight was a main event in the Sunbet Arena. So it tells you what you need to know. And since then, Temba was moving and doing big things. So you can't. Temba got paid probably very well. I don't know. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Temba. But Toby, what do you think about the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria? And by the way, Dracos is from Pretoria too. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If he goes on to beat Strickland, then you definitely have a reason to bring it to South Africa, don't you? So yeah, that could work.
Courageous Empire here has an interesting take. He says PFL will bring an event to Africa before the UFC. I'm not surprised. I will not be
Hmm.
surprised, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that would happen if PFL brings an event to Africa. It's going to be in the northern part of Africa because of the Saudi fund that is in there. So the Arabs are probably going to get the event first because of the influence that Arabs have on the PFL. So it wouldn't likely be South Africa. But I'm sure with Francis Ngannou there, he would probably want it to be in West Africa. But that's going to come with a lot of challenges. I don't know if he's going to succumb to it actually happening in the Arab part of Africa, which would likely happen. But Toby, you were trying to make a point regarding Dracos and the Sunbet Arena.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said. Dricos is from there. If he wins against Strickland, you have an headline fight for South Africa. That will make sense. It's big homecoming. You can put Cameron Simon on there. There's a couple of other fighters from South Africa that you could throw on that card too, just to get them in the UFC and all. But I feel like South Africa is one of the prime destinations for this, regardless of the skin color. It's still Africa at the end of the day. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So Temba here says, ha ha ha, no, I got paid 5K for that fight, but God is good. Wow. Um,
5K no small
I
now.
don't know how the I don't know how the currency, the rand currency is to dollar and what the cost of living is in South Africa. But $5,000 for a main eventer, ish, is something to have a different podcast about. Yeah, so I think Sunbet Arena might happen if Dracos actually goes out there and beats Strickland. He would likely headline. Huh. I think okay, so here's the thing. I actually think if Dracos loses to Strickland, then there is a better chance of UFC happening in South Africa than him actually being champion. Because here's my reason why. When you are a champion, defending your title should actually be on a pay-per-view, right? But when UFC are going to test new waters, they don't like doing pay-per-view first. They like doing fight night first. Even the Saudis are getting fight night. So would Dricos defend his title on a fight night? That's where the issue would be. That is one. Two, if Dricos now loses to Strickland, that means that his stock is going to go higher because he's already popular now when he beat Whitaker. Now when he fights Strickland and he's a main event, his stock is going to get higher. And I'm not saying Dracos will lose, but if Dracos loses, then he's then in that A-list caliber of someone that could actually headline a fight night. And that fight night being in Africa, I think it's going to be perfect. I think the chances of Dracos headlining a fight night in Africa would likely be him not as a champion, or I don't think him as a champion would be something that the UFC will back for a whole pay-per-view to be here, because I think it's quicker to do a fight night than actually do a whole pay-per-view out here. But you tell me what you think, guys, in the comment section. And by the way, I'm not hating on Dricos. I'm just telling you what I think. Toby, do you agree?
Dracos must not hear this thing you just said.
No, 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 no,
That's
no. What I'm saying is,
I know, I get it. Yeah, I get your point, but is there a set in stone rule that a champion can't defend his title, on a fight night? I mean, if he wants
yo,
to bring it to Africa, like
we are going to talk about UFC 300, but this isn't something that my head is going to. I actually don't have. Eesh.
UFC
We are
300
going to
can't be
do
in South
our.
Africa.
We are going to have a prediction of not really a prediction. We're going to give our fight cards for UFC 300, and you guys in the comment section, including you, Temba, that you are matchmaking here. Please, we would want you to drop your UFC 300 card when we get there. So yes, let's go to the last venue. So the last venue is the Dakar Arena in Senegal, capacity 15K. Reported to be the front runner of UFC Africa. This isn't really a report. Hey, sometimes when Temba talk, I dey kind of like take him serious because say he dey close to all these things, yeah. So he says the big chance UFC 300 is in Africa, Easy versus Dricus in South Africa. This is what
I
is
thought
about to
Easy was
happen.
on break.
I think
Hmm.
it's gonna be perfect. I swear it's gonna be perfect. So we need Strickland to get out there. I think Temba, you just made something for me. Eh? This thing that you said, UFC 300 is going to happen in South Africa. I'm going to make a solo video about this. And I have a lot of things popping in my head. All right, thanks, Temba. Yeah, Courageous Empire say, what about Kamaru Usman headlining a fight night? Yeah, that could be a possibility. Usman versus Robert Whittaker, maybe middleweight. But let's not get carried away. Let's stay on this arena matter. Then we move on. So Dakar Arena, Senegal. There was a press conference where someone was asking Dana White about UFC Africa, and then some voice from the background, one of the people that Dana used to take answers from or used to ask questions from, made reference to we are looking at the Dakar Arena in Senegal, and I don't know how serious the conversation is, but they did actually mention it in a press conference. So hence why this red thing here reported to be a runner-up. All right, so Senegal, the fans of Senegal understand MMA. RS RSFC did their first event, or was it the second event in Senegal? That is one. Two, there is a very rich combat culture there with regards to lutte Senegalais, the wrestling that they do in there. And they've got a very, very exciting heavyweight in not Bambade, Rogrog. Actually, I
No
did see
problem. Yeah.
Rogrog and Paulo Costa training together, saying they are the secret juice brothers. That's that's very funny. Um, uh, well, if the UFC could sign Rogue, they could just throw him in a fight night main event in the car arena, Senegal. But guys, UFC 300, no, no, no. I would put my thoughts in the video that I'm going to make. So Toby, you tell me, what do you think? The car arena, Senegal, 15K.
Perfect. Perfect. This, if you ask me to pick, this would be the arena that I feel should host it. Um, 15K would be enough to house, a very big fight night that, will be grand enough to be the first event of the UFC in Africa. As you said, they have Rogo, they have a couple of good wrestlers in Senegal that, the UFC can latch on. So I feel like this is the perfect venue. There's a lot of black combat sports following in Senegal. So you will get the black guys in there. You will really feel Africa from its roots in this arena. So yeah.
All right. Before we move ahead, Temba said the arena is not the problem.